Today we are celebrating the 30th anniversary, a little early, of the death of Godzilla with something straight from Japan. We are looking at Bandai's movie monster series, Flying Destroyah. Now you'll have to pardon the setup on this one a little bit because this is a very awkward figure. But what you are looking at is the first time Bandai has ever graced us with Destroyah in its flying form. This comes all the way from Japan, and I want to give a shout out to my buddy Frank for hooking this up for me. He went down to the Godzilla store, snagged one of these bad boys, and a couple weeks later it's in my hands. So, Flying Destroyah. As I said, it has never been done before in vinyl form like this. They've done model kits, they've done gashapons, but never did we get the mid-level design in all of its glory. So this is part of Bandai, part of a period I'm calling scraping the barrel, if you will. Look, for a long time, there was a lot of figures people have gushed over. They've wanted, they've demanded, and Bandai's went, no. Now it feels like nothing is off the table. So it makes sense to do this guide now because, like I said, it is the 30th anniversary of Godzilla vs. Destroyah. So why not? They've already reissued Burning Godzilla, which I saw one a couple of weeks ago at Kaiju Go, and it looked pretty good for a movie monster series figure. The paint was great. The Destroyah, though, yeah, it is what it is. I don't think they've ever done a great Destroyah that was properly matching the quality of the movie. The first generation was pretty good, but every other version since then with the wings out have not looked great. This, though, I'm happy to announce, looks absolutely fantastic. So, this is a movie monster series. Yes, it is a vinyl, so you're not getting movie monster series quality, but you're getting a damn good job of sculpting and paintwork on this. So one thing is the horns are a little bendy, but that is to be had with these vinyl figures. But as you can see, the sculpt is quite well done. There's an insane amount of detailing that has gone into the head and face. You see they gave the little black clusters in the ears, is what I'm calling them. But you can tell there's sculpt and little details right there in the brow. The teeth, the horns are all individually painted. The tongue is painted, the eyes. Fantastic. The rest of the body's not bad either. There is a quite shocking amount of detailing that has gone into this guy. Now, there's certain things that, of course, with the movie monster series that, you're not going to escape. Like the back claws are all fused together. In fact, the body is just one solid fused piece. There's clearly a cut right here where it's glued. That's about where it ends. There is only movement in the tail and in the head. So that's what you're going to get. But this is more or less a display figure. Zoom out there a little bit so I can get this. But as you can see, they gave the nice purple hue under the wings. The chest is just a solid white paint job, but it doesn't look bad. There is a bit of shading right here on the neck, and again, this is an awkward figure to be holding up to try to get you guys on the detailing, but I'm doing the best I can. Overall, though, absolutely astonishing. I love that they finally made this thing. So the trifecta of Destroyers is complete. They have reissued the other two forms, the final form and the aggregate, basically the little crab form. So now we have all three. The problem with this is that, much like the Mothras, the Batras, the flying figures, display is going to be a little awkward. You can go out of your way, buy a third-party stand to put this guy up on. I've seen people in Japan do that already. So that is an option. He's just going to sit on top of my shelf next to Megaguirus, probably on top of my my Death Ghidorah. That's kind of how I display all my Bandais. Let's look at the tag. So it's got the standard movie monster series tag. There's the Godzilla vs. Destroyah, Flying Destroyah, and the kanji. Here's the inside. There's the silhouette. There's everything you need to know about this. And then, of course, we got the puppet right there. So, this guy ran me roughly about $35, which is about the going rate in Japan for the Godzilla Store exclusives. This is a Godzilla Store exclusive. So, what does that mean? Hopefully, we get it on the American site. Some of the store exclusives have been hit and miss. I don't think the Zilla ever really got a release over here. There's been a couple, I think, that have kind of skirted under the radar. But, that said, the Godzilla Store US has been pretty good about putting these figures up for pre-order for, the Western audiences. So, I have a feeling this guy, if he's not up by the time this video's out, he should be up pretty soon. But he is very cool. I do love this. We're getting into deep cut stuff that I do enjoy thoroughly. And again, as a kid, I would have killed for this thing. I'm 41 years old. I'm happy as a pig and crap to finally have proper representation of Destroyah flying. Yeah, the tag's a little awkward, but I don't know. I might take that tag off, but I wanted to keep it on for the review. But other than that, yeah, he looks magnificent. A little pricey, but you know what? I'm not complaining. You know, when you're in this game of collecting Japanese import stuff, you're paying a premium, and that is what I have signed up for. But just look, I mean, again, Bandai, kudos, because they are putting out a slightly better product. Some of the stuff has been hit and miss. Kaiser Ghidorah, I'm looking at you. But they do seem to be taking feedback very well and improving upon the merchandise that they are giving us. And that's about it. There's not much else I can tell you about a simple flying plastic figure. Just other than that, he looks cool. Well, there you guys have it. That is my review of Bandai's Movie Monster Series Flying Destroyah. Remember, if you like what you see, we do have a show. It's called The Kaiju Kingdom Podcast. You can find us at thekaijukingdompodcast.com. And if you don't like to download, well, you can stream us on all of your favorite podcast streamers, including Apple, Spotify, or wherever else you might find better podcasts. We're also on social media. You can find us on X, Instagram, Facebook.com/The Kaiju Kingdom Podcast. If you want to say hi or keep up to date in the world of giant monsters, that is the place where you can go and do so. And on that note, that will do it for this edition of the Koffers. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.